Welcome to Muslim Academy's podcast series, a collection of interviews with individuals living in Muslim countries or living as Muslims, striving to bridge the gap between the Western world and the Muslim world. In today's podcast, Caitlin and Chris interview Samad, who describes the role of corruption in the political environment of Pakistan and how it affects the daily life of Pakistanis.
I'm Samad Aslam Khan. I live in Pakistan in the city of Faisalabad. It's an industrial city in Pakistan and one of the big cities. We are getting lots of problem here in Pakistan, and the main problem is corruption. Recently we saw a corruption scandal, that is laptop scandal. That's why I wrote about it. I want to raise some voice against the corruption, so I started with that issue, that is laptop scandal.
Could you say your name one more time, Samad?
My name is Samad Aslam Khan. Samad Aslam Khan.
Great, thank you.
Okay, well, I think a lot of Americans don't really know anything about Pakistan, so I'm just wondering, you said corruption is obviously a huge problem and the laptop scheme is just one of these. Could you talk a little bit about maybe how much corruption there is in Pakistan?
Recently there was a Transparency International report 5 years ago. It said that Pakistan is in top 60 or 70 countries in corruption. But in 5 years, it came to the ranked 17 in corruption, top 17 countries in corruption. You can see how we are advancing, how we are getting to the top of the ranking in corruption. It is according to Transparency International report. So we are getting, basically the politicians here in Pakistan are totally corrupt. Their policies, all the budgets, all the rules and regulations are made to save themselves and to earn some millions and billions of dollars in every scheme, in every policy. The laptop scandal is one of them. Just one of them.
No, I think as Caitlin mentioned, and Samad, if you could just speak a little bit slower too, that would be great.
Oh, sure.
As Caitlin mentioned, I think that most Americans don't really know much about Pakistan, and a lot of what we know, unfortunately, has to do with things like bin Laden and terrorism. And for many of us, I think that's about it. That's about all we hear. Now, when you talk about the government, can you talk a little bit about what the government is? Is it an elected government or is it an appointed government?
It is elected government basically, but truly it was not elected by the people. There was also some corruption in the elections. There was some, you can say, it was predefined election. Most of the people in Pakistan not voted for the party. They voted for a person named Benazir Bhutto. She was murdered in just before election, and the people got emotional about her party, and they voted to that personality, not to that party. And the president of Pakistan, I have to call his name. President of Pakistan, Mr. Zardari. He was not in that party, but he was the husband of prior Prime Minister Benazir Bhutto. So he came and became the chairperson of the party and became the president of Pakistan without any vote. None of the Pakistani like him even a bit. He's a person in the world. I guess he's the only person who has been abused so much in every SMS, in every Facebook post, and by every Pakistani. No one likes him. Even then, we are wearing him as the president of Pakistan. And same is the case with the prime minister of Pakistan. Both are so much corrupt. You might have heard the name of Mr. 10%. It was the name of President Pakistan, Prime Minister, President of Pakistan, Mr. Zardari.
Okay, so you said that the president, he wasn't elected, but he became the president because Benazir Bhutto died. Just so for our clarification, who exactly was Benazir Bhutto?
Benazir Bhutto was the chairperson of a leading political party in Pakistan, Pakistan People's Party. It was the biggest political party in Pakistan, and Benazir Bhutto has been the Prime Minister of Pakistan twice before she was murdered.
So
Go ahead.
I think it's important for people to know. I think a lot of people in the U.S. have heard of Benazir Bhutto, but at the same time, we think of Pakistan as being very, obviously corrupt and behind the times and oppressive. And I just think it's definitely something to point out that Pakistan has had a female prime minister, and many countries in the West, particularly the U.S., have yet to achieve that.
She was the first female prime minister of Pakistan. Actually, she was the daughter of Prime Minister Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, if you know him. He was Prime Minister of Pakistan in late 80s or even start of 90s. But he was hanged by the... actually, he was a cause in a murder case, so he was hanged till death in 90s, I guess.
So you have a president who was married to Miss Bhutto, and he became president. And how often are there elections in Pakistan?
Normally, the election period is 5 years, but it is the second time that the government has completed his full tenure, the tenure of 5 years. It is the very first time, or maybe the second time. Normally, the election held every 3 or 4 years because no government was able to complete his tenure.
So, could you talk a little bit about how the corruption affects you on a daily basis?
On a daily basis, the main problem, the main facility is the electricity facility. But the hell of corruption is here in the electricity department. We say the department. We name the department WAPDA, Water and Power Distribution Authority. Actually, we have 5 rivers in Punjab. Punjab is a province of Pakistan. 5 rivers in Punjab, and we have 2 biggest dams in Pakistan, the Tarbela Dam and the Mangla Dam. If we utilize both the dams, we can very easily be efficient in energy. But the corrupt government is not doing that. They are producing electricity on oil and other fuels which are very expensive. We have a nuclear power plant in Karachi which can produce a good amount of electricity at very low cost. But again, it is closed since last 5 years because we are producing electricity on petroleum. While we have very cheap sources, we can produce on coal. We can produce electricity using those dams, using that nuclear power plant.
Well, when you say the electricity, now, what does that mean for you on a daily basis? Does this mean that you have periods of time where you have no electricity?
Basically, since I am born, I have never seen the electricity 24 hours continuously. Daily, if we go back 5 years, it was a routine that on daily 2 hours electricity shortage was there. But now, more than 13 or 14 hours, we get no electricity on daily basis. Recently, full week was off. And now, this is the Faisalabad is the industrial city. It must be given the full-time electricity, but again, we are not getting that. 20 hours and 20 to 22 hours are we are getting electricity shortage.
So in any given 24-hour period, 13 of those hours you have no power at all?
Yeah, not.
Now, I've got 2 questions. One is, what do you do in that time? And 2, I imagine you must have things like a refrigerator, and you must have a business where you use a computer. How do you live? How do you live like that? For me, it's something that's even unfathomable. As someone who basically lives his life in front of a computer, how do you maintain your living, and how do you live without power for 13 hours each day?
Basically, we can just wait for the electricity when once it goes. And you said how we will live, how we do business. So recently we saw a budget survey in Pakistan on 1st June. They told that according to that report, according to that survey, the self-employment was 42% recent year, and this year it remained only 26%. So you can imagine how electricity shortage is affecting a single person or a sole proprietorship. So, like me, a person like me who spend most of his time in front of computer is having no business nowadays just because of electricity shortage.
So what is your business, if you don't mind me asking?
My business is a software house. I'm running a software house in Pakistan. So basically, most of the work is regarding web solutions and web services. So I have to be online 24 hours or at least 20 hours.
But you can't, because for 13 hours each day,
Definitely,
you have no power. So
definitely.
do you have a solution that you've come up with in order to do work during that 13-hour period?
Yeah, definitely. We try to install solutions like UPS, uninterrupted power supply, and generators as well. But generators again, it costs us so much that we can't afford on daily basis. And as far as UPS is concerned, UPS are electronic device that provide electricity that store electricity in batteries and then provide electricity when it is not there. So for that we need electricity to charge it at least. But the 13 hours shortage never allows any UPS in the world to charge and then supply the electricity when it is off. So all the UPS generators are failed in such severe electricity shortage.
Now you said that this is related to corruption, and I'm curious as to how does withholding power and electricity from an entire populace for 13 hours a day help anybody? It seems like something like that would only hurt the economy, hurt everyone involved.
Yes, definitely. We are not getting business. Not just me. Here the main industry in Faisalabad is the fabric industry or cloth industry, the textile industry. We are not able to fulfill any order given by any foreign country. We are late in delivery. We are late due to electricity shortage. We are late due to natural gas shortage. Though we have the biggest source of natural gas. Even then, we are not getting that just because of corruption. They are not allowing us to use our natural resources. Even they are allowing for other countries to extract the fuels and other natural resources from Pakistan, but they are not allowing the local people to use the same resources because they are getting money in their pockets.
So, does this affect everybody in the country, these power outages?
Yeah, everybody suffered. You can see the news of Pakistan. Almost 80% of the population comes to the road and they protest against the government and against the power shortage and against the inflation, which is higher than any other country in the Asia. Even then, we are not getting any result.
Well, so what's and forgive me if you kind of answered this, but what's the end game? Like, why would they withhold electricity from an entire population? I mean, I don't see how anybody can benefit from that.
Basically, they are getting benefit. Actually, they are. I told already that they are using fuel, oil. Basically, oil is not not a local resource in Pakistan. We have to import, and in the during import and during the purchase from other countries, they get plenty of options, plenty of opportunities to corrupt and to get some money in their pocket. So that's why they are importing importing oil and petroleum products, etc. And recently, I must mention the rental power projects. Uh, Many of the countries like China offered us a very cheap electricity solution, but our government rejected that just because they wanted some money and for the corruption option. So they hired the rental power project, which is costing us almost a dollar. We can say Pakistan 90 rupees, Pakistani 90 rupees per unit, while China was offering only rupees 3 per unit. You can see the huge difference of 87 Pakistani rupees in per unit price. So you can see where is the corruption, why they are corrupting.
That's pretty astounding. And like I said, that's something that I can't even fathom living here in America.
Will you imagine we have paid twice the price of the rental powers, and it is written in the papers as well. We paid twice to the Turkish government for the rental powers. Still not using them.
Go ahead, Caitlin.
I'm just wondering, did you say that a lot of people are protesting?
Yeah, daily we protest on the roads, we protest against in the media, on the Facebook, everywhere we are protesting, but we are not getting any result here.
It's interesting because we've had in the past few months a lot of coverage of the protests really all across the world, in Europe and, and obviously in the Arab world. And I'm just wondering, do you have an opinion on why we haven't heard about the protests in Pakistan?
Now we can see a party called Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf is coming on the way. Is getting popular. It is led by a cricket player, Imran Khan, and we see some hope in that person because he's exciting the people about the revolution. So we can hope that we can see some revolution in Pakistan, like in Egypt or like in Libya. So just we can hope for that, but don't know exactly what can be happen in Pakistan in the coming years. As we still see that the Pakistan People's Party and other political parties which are corrupt enough are still in power, and there is a lot of expectation that they will come to rule again and again, because people don't vote, even then they win.
Do those protests ever turn violence?
Mostly the protest is against. Normally we come on the road against government, but mostly the people destroy the public properties. Like they destroy the cars of local people, they destroy the local buses, they destroy the shops which are owned by some poor person in Pakistan. We destroy these things in spite of destroying the protesting against government. So normally protest turns into violence actually.
So they just destroy the property of their neighbors, basically.
Yeah, basically.
Out of anger.
Yeah, in anger they do that.
And just one other question, because like I said, I can't even fathom something like this, but things like a refrigerator, where you need to have food that needs to stay cold, or things like that. How do you deal with that?
Normally, we have refrigerators in every house, but we are not storing anything in that because it is not able to do to store anything, because we don't get cooling when electricity goes off. So we have to buy only the things which can be used only one time. Like if we are buying for lunch, then we buy just enough which can be consumed in the lunch, and then we have to buy for dinner. Then we make just enough things which can be consumed in the dinner. So we don't store normally.
Now, do you see any solution to this problem?
Yeah, we are trying to invent some solutions. Like we are trying to employ the wind energy, the solar energy, And for the corruption, we are trying our best to bring some revolution in Pakistan and to elect next time the prime minister or the party which is not corrupt. And for that, we are giving awareness to social media. We are giving awareness to the news channels and other ways. So people, especially the young people, may get awareness, and next time they may elect some reasonable person who is sincere with the Pakistan, who is not corrupt, and who really want the progress in Pakistan.
So do you think that if you did, have a new election, do you think that even would come out with the results you want? Or do you think the government is so corrupt that the election results wouldn't be true?
Both things can be happened there, but we can just hope for the best, because recently there were by-elections in Pakistan, and we see that even in the by-elections, the party who is to whom people call the most corrupt party in the Pakistan won the election, won that by-election. So if we see the by-election results, we can expect that again this government will win. But if we see the awareness of the people, then we can expect that, we can hope that a new party which is not corrupt will come into rule.
Now, I guess one final question for me before I know Caitlin wants to talk to you about the laptop piece you wrote, but when you talk about revolution against the government, and again, this may just be my own ignorance, but when I tend to think of Pakistan, I tend to think of a pretty repressive government that probably wouldn't take kindly to talks like that and may even be maybe listening to conversations and things like that. Do you feel safe talking about perhaps having a revolution against the government? Are you worried about any retaliation?
Yeah, definitely we feel safe because in Pakistan we say it's democracy and everyone has the right to say whatever he wants to say. Unless we are exciting the people to for the violence, etc.
Okay, so there is a pretty freedom of speech in Pakistan. Okay. Again, it's just something that, when I tend to watch the media and the news, we have a very different perception, I think, about Pakistan than what may exist. And so thank you. So, Caitlin, I know you wanted to ask about the laptop piece that he wrote.
Sure. I think we covered a lot of things relating to it already, but I'm just wondering, could you tell me exactly how this happened? I read your article, but I'm still a little confused about exactly what the scandal was.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, the Prime Minister, the Chief Minister of Punjab Province, Mr. Shehbaz Sharif, is the chairperson of Pakistan Muslim League, leading political party in Pakistan. He given an idea that we should give awareness, we should give advancement in the studies in the technology. So he decided to give about 1,25,000 laptops to the students, university students who are brilliant enough or who are brilliant enough to get the scholarship, etc. So in the form of scholarship, they decided to give them the laptops. The brand which was chosen was the Dell Inspiron N4050 model. Actually, its cost on the Dell website is Pakistani rupees 45,000, and they advertise it with the same price that they are giving students a laptop costing them 45,000 Pakistani rupees. But actually the laptop's cost is only 28,000 or maybe less than that. There are various reasons I can prove, I proved in the article why the price is so less and where went that money. The total budget was 14 million Pakistani rupees, but they corrupted almost half of the amount in the laptop scheme. You can see that 45,000 the laptop of 45,000 was bought actually in 28,000 Pakistani rupees. Basically, when I talk about the Dell Inspiron N4050, it has the specs of 4 GB RAM, and the other specs are same as they were the laptops were distributed among the students. So difference was in the RAM. In the original laptop, there was a RAM of 4 GB, and there was a free window, original Windows, Microsoft Windows 7. So so the laptops which were distributed among the students, they did not have Microsoft Windows, which cost almost dollar 120, almost you can say the rupees 14 to 16,000 Pakistani rupees. And same is the case with the RAM, $60. 2 GB RAM costs $60. If we deduct these two things only, then when the price of laptop comes down to 28,800 Pakistani rupees. So you can see the huge difference in just two things. The other corruption they did was in manufacturing. They used cheap material. They given the contract to a Chinese company which is producing not the original Dell laptops. So I'm not discussing those issues. I'm discussing just two of the issues like the RAM and the original window. So we can in just two things we can see a big difference in the price. So this was the corruption, and the whole money went into the pocket of CM Punjab, Mr. Shehbaz Sharif.
So I guess you're just, where's the other money going, I guess is the question. And there's no real answer to that other than, it's just lining the pockets of the government.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, so this sort of thing happens.
This
is just one example.
Yeah, just one example. This is only the one example. The Pakistani government every day we see lots of scandal. Every day we see a news story on the media, but daily it comes and then it goes, and people keep protesting and no one listens them. Wow. Even the Prime Minister, both the sons of Prime Minister, even his wife, even his daughter, all are involved in corruption, and we saw a huge scandal about them, but no one can take action against them. Even you can see recently the Supreme Court of Pakistan taken some decision against Prime Minister of Pakistan, but he's so much corrupt that he's not accepting the decision of Supreme Court of Pakistan. Can you imagine the Prime Minister not accepting the decision of the Supreme Court of any country? Here's the example, the biggest example how corrupt we are.
Right. Well, I think that's all the questions I have. Chris, do you have any more?
No, I don't. Samad, thank you so much. Like I said, maybe some of these questions seemed kind of strange to you, but then again, we don't have much knowledge about Pakistan at all. So I wanted to thank you so much for your questions, and perhaps we can do this again next time and talk about another probable misconception, which is the relationship.
Mostly, the world knows that Pakistan has the main problem of terrorism, but basically terrorism is in just a tiny part of Pakistan, not in whole Pakistan. The whole Pakistan is suffering from corruption and corruption and corruption. No other problem is there in Pakistan except corruption. The main problem is corruption only, not the terrorism.
Well, I would certainly like to talk to you about the terrorism as well, because I think that when most Americans think of Pakistan, unfortunately, they think of terrorism as well. And I know that this is probably a great misconception and something you could probably shed some light on during our next podcast.
Yes, I will.
Well, thank you so much, Samad. Really appreciate
Thank you, Samad. I really appreciate your time and the time you're taking to explain all of this to us.
Thank you so much for your time as well.
Okay, and we will talk to you soon, okay?
Thank you. Okay, I will.
Thank you. All right, bye-bye.
Caitlin is a student in Boston, Massachusetts. Chris is an attorney in Boston, Massachusetts. Samad is an owner of a web services company in Pakistan. Music is by George Dimitri Sawa. This podcast was produced by Muslim Academy. please visit www.muslim-academy.com for more podcasts and other resources about Muslim language, culture, and religion.